and it was just awesome. And I just love everybody who works here. Everybody has been so super friendly. And the good news is chances of rain really went down. So there's the new museum, and they have a walking path up. And even though it was really hard to see when I went by, when I was coming up, the pond is still there, which I am very happy about. I was kind of upset when I thought it was gone because that's where the terrapins would come up and visit Laura, and I love that story. How she trained them to do it, I do not know. I will give a word of warning. This doesn't look so steep on the way up. Coming down, it's kind of steep. I don't know. I definitely wouldn't want to try it in a non-power wheelchair myself. I'd be a little hesitant about taking someone else down in a non-power wheelchair unless there were two of us helping. So, I think you can finish getting up to the top of the hill. I think you can sort of see how it goes down. Okay, but in happier days, here we go. We are at Rocky Ridge Farmhouse, aka the place where Laura and El Manzo lived. Their 10-room farmhouse they were so proud of. And there's a bunch of stuff out for tomorrow's event, which I'm going to try and get here early, which tomorrow morning I'm either going to get a muffin or I'm going to try, well, I shouldn't tell you what I'm going to try and do, because in case it doesn't happen. And I'm not going to be able to film it anyway. There's some more of those sawhorses that are parking aids and benches. They've had those for a long time, and I just think they're awesome. You can see that the old museum building is still there. However, as I walk around, you're going to see that other stuff are gone. Huh. Now this is a walnut tree. And I'm going to use this as a good opportunity. I don't think I've said it before. If you're wondering why, there we go, why I have a brown mark on my hand all of a sudden, which I'm sure you weren't wondering at all. But it was, I happened to be standing, take a minute to pause and look outside during a windstorm, and a walnut fell down and hit my hand for all of like 2 seconds. And I have showered twice since then, and it's still there. Walnuts are serious business. Laura was concerned, Laura and Manley both, when they upgraded the highway, because it took a little bit of their land, which is what highways do. Oh, look. And where's my row of fossils? Where's my row of fossils? There they are. Can you see them? Let's see. There's the big flat place. Ah, yeah, there they are. Which I think is incredibly awesome. So I hope somebody has looked at this chimney lately. All right, here we go around the house, and ooh, there's more food benches there. Okay, so all right, so basically this house started as sort of a one-room house. They moved it from where it was, being an addition to their log cabin, to the top of the hill. Back then people moved buildings a lot more than they do now. And that part, I think this is, why does it go? That part's kind of right behind me over there. Now, this next part was right here. was the next addition with the front and the down. Then the big one was in 1913 for the front part of the house, which is really very prairie school. They kept this as a screened-in porch, and they used that as eating area during summer too, and they closed in their porch to make that the kitchen. They made the kitchen as it was built into the dining room, and then I guess that's really kind of it. Except the very last addition to the house is this one right here, because this is a little jut out because they couldn't get the refrigerator to fit, so they had to do that. Now, the museum is still here. I, however, do not see Almanzo's workshop. That does not make me... I am... Oh, wait. See, I have too little faith. There it is. There's Almanzo's workshop. It was there before the museum was there, and it is now the director's office. For a while it was a gift shop, and I've got a picture of that, so I may be able to just drop that in. And then over here was the house that they built to have caretakers on the property. Rose built it. It was a very 60s ranch house, and Rose, well, I said Rose built it. She never lived there, but it was where Bernice, drop in last name here, from Humboldt, Iowa, lived during the summer while she was teaching school. After her husband died, she came down and worked every summer, and the Litchys also lived in the house a while. Well, I'm back home again, and I was editing my Mansfield videos, and I listened to what I just said about the house that is no longer standing there next to Rocky Ridge. And I realized that I did a terrible job talking about who lived in the house, and I wanted to leave that soundtrack there because I had said a couple good things on the audio, but I wanted to explain a little bit more of what I was saying about the house. Now, first off, I just kind of glossed over the Litchys and sort of assumed everybody knows who they were, which is not really probably the case. Irene Litchy and her husband LD, and then later her second husband, were the ones who ran the museum in Mansfield for many, many years. And in fact, I would have to say that it is because of Irene Litchy that the house was preserved as it is. I think eventually it would have been preserved as long as they could eventually buy it again. And they would have some of the same things, but she moved right when the iron was hot to try and get back as many things as possible. They do like to say the house is like it was originally when Laura died. It is more accurate to say that it was recreated out of many of the same things, some of which have now been moved over to the Rock House. But anyway, the reason they had so much was because Litchys got the ball rolling, and they deserve full credit for that. Some of the things they did later might stand up to a little questioning, but they get full credit for saving the house. Then the other person I was talking about, and this is why I was talking more about her, because I was talking to her about for two reasons. First, she is an Iowa girl, and second, she never gets talked about. She just sort of drops out of any kind of discussion. Irene Litchy, they have a fancy painting for in the museum. Bernice Jones Risse Trout, she remarried again after her first husband died. I did not see a word about her. And maybe there was some there that I just missed, but she's just completely disappeared. And I think that's really unfair, and I want to correct that because she was an Iowa girl. People ought to know about Iowa girls doing great things. So she was a school teacher. She was from Osage, Iowa, not Humboldt, I misspoke. She was from Osage, and she taught in several schools around that area. And she was married to the superintendent of one of those schools. And every summer, starting in 1961, she would go down to Mansfield and help run the museum and do a lot of the tours and do anything that really needed done. Now, after she retired, she actually moved down to Mansfield, and she was involved in the museum for 22 years. That is until 1983. And I don't think 22 years of work should just be forgotten about. So that's why I always try and talk about Bernice. And even though I haven't had a lot of luck finding information on her, I tracked down her obituary and a couple of slight leads, and there really wasn't anything. So I just want to say thank you to Bernice, because somebody should, and that I shouldn't have glossed over the Litchis. So, thank you. So when all that changed, they turned it into the gift shop, and it was really a nice gift shop. They used the former garage as where they had their orientation video, and it is all gone and forgotten. The apple trees that are in my program are right over there. There they are. And they have apples on them. Oh my gosh. This is great. Looks like they have some vendors over here too. Oh, there's the side of the farmhouse. And, and apparently, it looks like this is a local thing. They have Laura's Lunch Pail.
Hi, I'm Colleen, and I started this little food wagon. It's kind of a unique story. Mrs. Cody, our former director of the Wilder home, and I had brainstormed some type of food offering out here. And I said, well, what about a food truck? She didn't really know if she could go for a food truck or not. And I said, what if I can make it look like a covered wagon? And so that's what we ended up with. We ended up with Laura's Lunch Pail, and it looks like a covered wagon.
And it really does. I was thinking, you know, we were at Disney in February, and I think it looks better than Woody's lunchbox, but then I think it looks pretty terrible, so it doesn't take much, which is kind of awesome. So that's it for right now. I will catch you up later.